Hey everybody, Ace Channel Liam here and welcome to another episode of MetroMania. For those who aren't aware, MetroMania is an ongoing 16 Pokemon Metronome-only double battle tournament to determine the MetroMania Champion, and this season is all about ALOLAN form Pokemon. If you're a fan of MetroMania already and you're ready for more, make sure you hit the like button, show you're enjoying the series, and of course hit subscribe if you're new so you never miss an episode. We're in the second of our semi-finals this week. The final is just 1 week away, but of course we need to find out who's going to face ALOLAN Ninetales, and that's what we're doing this week. But before we get into the battles, let's have a look at the brackets and see how we got where we are now. If you did not watch last week's episode of MetroMania, go back and watch it. It isn't very long, but it was one of the most intense battles I've ever seen and was arguably Ninetales' finest hour so far. It absolutely dominated ALOLAN Executor, and I don't know if many of us saw that coming. We know it had the type advantage with the ice type and the fairy type against the dragon type and the grass type, but unbelievable how badly Executor got whooped in that battle. It is like a car crash. So we say goodbye to Executor and Ninetales moves on. Now we need to find out Ninetales' opponent in the grand final. Will it be ALOLAN Muck or will it be ALOLAN Marowak? So here we go, ALOLAN Muck versus ALOLAN Marowak, MetroMania Season 6, Semi-Final 2. It's time to find out who Ninetales' opponent in the final is going to be. Everyone's on the field, everyone's ready to go. What will happen in this battle? I am on the edge of my seat after last week. I really can't even fathom what might happen in this battle. Here comes the regular ALOLAN Muck, starting things off with an Ice Punch. It's not going to be very effective on Marowak. Now, do remember that the immunities these Pokemon have, so the Muck team will be immune to Psychic-type attacks. As you see here, Marowak is immune to Normal-type moves and Fighting-type moves because of its Ghost-typing. Shiny Marowak is going to go for Conversion and change itself to a Normal-type, so now it's immune to Ghost-type moves, just to complicate things, and is weak to Fighting-type moves. So that's an interesting play right there. Over comes the regular Marowak, who is going to go for Horn Attack onto that regular Muck there. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes down. I'm a little bit scared, I think, for Muck. Or am I scared for Marowak? I'm not really sure, actually. I don't really know who has the advantage here. I guess Muck has the type advantage because of the dark typing. Regular Muck going to go for rest and put itself to sleep for a couple of turns. But then I feel like Marowak has a chance to really upset Muck, I think, even with the type advantage. So I really don't know which way this could go. But I guess let me know in the comments who you think is going to win. Here we see a Sand Attack coming out from the shiny ALOLAN Muck there onto the shiny ALOLAN Marowak. Going to drop that accuracy, which is going to help out the Muck team no end. And here we see the shiny ALOLAN Marowak going for Psychic, which, as we said, doesn't affect Muck. Muck is a Dark-type Pokemon in the ALOLAN iteration. Here we see regular Marowak, yep, with a Minimize using Muck's tactic from the quarterfinals. Going to make itself more evasive so that it's harder for the Muck team to hit it. Not a bad shout there either. What is next for these Pokemon? I have no idea. If you hear me taking little sips of drink in the background, it's because I've got to keep my voice going, you know what I mean? I've got to keep myself healthy. Always look after yourself. So we've got Shiny Muck ready and waiting. Its partner is still asleep because of that rest. Shiny Muck is going to go for Sonic Boom. Doesn't affect Marowak. Marowak's a Ghost type. Should have gone for the Shiny that's currently a Normal type for some reason. Shiny Marowak, I should say, is going to go for Amnesia, increasing that special defense, trying to protect itself. I mean, Muck isn't much of a special attacker anyway, so that's just going to help you alleviate the chip damage, I suppose. Here is the regular Marowak, who's going to go for Toxic. Doesn't affect Muck. Muck's a Poison type, so a bit of a wasted turn there all round. To be honest, there's that beautiful drinking ASMR that you all wished for. And now we see regular Muck still fast asleep. It'll wake up next turn, if it lives that long, I suppose. And Shiny Muck is taking the reins in this battle. What's it going to go for? Going to go for Fury Attack. It doesn't affect Marowak. You're using normal type moves on the wrong Pokemon, just like Sandshrew did in the quarterfinals. Here we see Fire Spin coming out. That is a stab Fire Spin from Marowak. Doesn't do a great deal of damage, but is going to do extra damage at the end of each turn onto that shiny ALOLAN Muck there. Here's shiny Marowak going for Petal Dance. That's going to be resisted by the Poison type ALOLAN Muck, who is fast asleep right now. But that is going to continue for a couple of turns as well, much as that Fire Spin damage at the end of the turns for shiny ALOLAN Muck. So this really could go either way right now. Everybody's just kind of tiptoeing around each other. No one's really going for any big power moves. No one's really revealing anything yet. Here's shiny Muck starting the next turn off, and it is going to go for Fury Attack. Again, going for the wrong Marowak. Going for the Marowak that isn't a normal type. Now that regular Muck has woken up, will it be able to mount some offense? Goes for Wrap onto the correct Marowak. There you go. That normal type Pokemon right now will be affected by normal type moves. That's going to deal a bit of damage at the end of each turn to that Shiny Marowak. Shiny Muck taking a bit more damage from that Petal Dance. It has now ended, and therefore Shiny Marowak is now confused due to fatigue. So now let's see where that leaves us. Regular Marowak is going to go for Barrier and increase its defense. Now that's a smart play against Muck. Increase your defense by 2 stages. Make it harder for Muck to deal that incredible physical damage that we know that Muck can dish out. There's more Fire Spin damage onto the shiny ALOLAN Muck, and there is more Wrap damage onto the shiny ALOLAN Marowak. What is next for these Pokemon? Who do you think has the advantage right now? I mean, health-wise, I would say the Marowak team has the advantage, but you can't always gauge it. I mean, look at Ninetales last week. My word. Here's Shiny Muck, though, going for a cut on the wrong Marowak once again. My word. You'd think by now Shiny Muck would know which Marowak is a ghost type and which one is not. Here's a Mega Kick on the regular Marowak. Marowak are getting very lucky here after that conversion. Not really taking much damage. Here's a low kick, though, that will be neutral on the regular ALOLAN Muck. Here's the confused shiny Marowak ignoring that confusion. What's it going to do here? It's going to go for Seismic Toss, which is guaranteed 50 damage. It's not a bad move to use right there. That's going to do a great chunk of damage there to that regular ALOLAN Muck. And there's more Fire Spin damage on the shiny ALOLAN Muck. And there's more Wrap damage on the shiny ALOLAN Marowak, who, let me remind you once again, did you know it's a normal type right now? Yeah, it is. Just to avoid any confusion in case you've missed anything. But here we go. Another round is beginning. We're starting to see the Muck team sort of falter a little bit, starting to suffer. Shiny Muck is going to go for Earthquake, which will damage its partner. It's super effective on its partner, but it's also super effective on the Marowak team as well. How much damage did that do to that Muck? It did enough to knock it out. That's how much it did. So now we're down to 1 Muck, 2 Marowak. That was probably a very bad play by the Shiny Muck there. Might have lost round 1 for its team. Here's a Lick, which is going to be not very effective, but is a stab move. Didn't get the paralysis, though. Shiny Marowak has snapped out of confusion, goes for the Metronome, has gone for Growth to increase its attack and special attack, which does not bode well for our Shiny Muck friend in the bottom corner of our screen. There's that Fire Spin damage still continuing there. That's unfortunate. And it didn't say that Muck was freed from Fire Spin, so that means that Fire Spin is going to continue into the next turn as well. This round seems like a foregone conclusion. These Marowak have been very, very cold and calculated. Here's a Thunder Punch, though, from Muck, finally dealing damage to that Ghost-type Marowak by not using a normal-type move. It may be too little too late, though. That Marowak is going to fire straight back with Fissure. It's avoided, though, so that Muck survives getting 1-hit KO. Here's the shiny ALOLAN Marowak, though, who's going to go for Double Team, make itself more evasive, make itself more difficult to be hit, which is not good for Muck right now. Muck is in a difficult position right now. It could really do with its partner. It was freed from Fire Spin. There you go. Fire Spin is over. No more residual damage to Shiny Muck, which may help it to mount some kind of offense against this Marowak team here. It needs to start bringing out maybe Dark-type moves. Goes for Karate Chop. Doesn't affect the Marowak that it's going after. That would have probably clean knocked out the Shiny Marowak that's currently a normal type. That's very unfortunate. And speaking of that Marowak, it has just used Withdraw and increased its defense by 1 stage. So well done to that Marowak. The Marowak team are just making sure they're very prepared for everything Muck can throw at them. Here's Reflect. I mean, even more so. So now this team is even more protected against physical hits. They've got Reflect up. Shiny is at +1 defense. The regular Marowak is at +2 defense. Muck really needs a miracle here. It needs crits or Brick Break or something like that. It needs something to get rid of that Reflect. Here we see Confuse Ray. That might be its saving grace here. Confuse Ray on the regular Marowak, on the shiny Marowak, which means that Marowak has a chance to knock itself out, which is really going to help Muck in the long run. So here comes the regular Marowak. How is it going to respond to that Confuse Ray? It's going to go for Vine Whip. That won't do much damage, but it's still going to do a little bit of chip damage, and Muck can't afford to be taking damage right now. Shiny Marowak is confused, is going to ignore it, is going to go for the Metronome. And what will the Metronome give us? Goes for Poison Gas. That doesn't affect Muck, so that is another opening for Muck. Muck has an opportunity here to try and take out one of these Marowak. If it can just survive long enough maybe for that Reflect to go down. What will Muck do? What's Muck got in the tank right now? Gonna go for Soft Boiled. Now, that's a fantastic play right there. If you want to increase your longevity on the field, bring your HP back up by 50%. What a great play by Muck. It's guaranteed that it's going to stay in this battle just that little bit longer. Marowak, Shiny Marowak's confused, hits itself. This could be Muck turning this battle around, which is really, really impressive here. So we see Marowak going for Swift. That's going to do a little bit of special damage. Guaranteed hit there. But wow, Muck has shown that you can't count this Pokemon out. This is really, really impressive. I mean, we could be speaking too soon, and the Marowak could batter Muck from this point on, but it's nice to see Muck trying to mount a comeback. Shiny Muck has really put the work in here. Ember avoided by Shiny Marowak wouldn't have been very effective anyway, but would have still been damaged. Shiny Marowak hits itself once again in confusion. This is really turning into Muck's favor right now. What is regular Marowak going to do to try and halt this climb? Goes for Leer, drops the defense one stage of Shiny Muck. Shiny Muck is really holding its own. Who thought this battle, this round of this battle, would still be going on at this point? This is really impressive. Like, I'm going to have no voice by the end of this because this seems like this is going to go on for days. Shiny Muck does not want to give up. It's going for Dig, which protects it against any damage from these opposing Pokemon and will be a super effective hit on those Marowak, on one of them at least, when that Muck comes back to the surface. But Fissure coming out, avoided by the Muck, avoiding another Fissure. That's the second Fissure that's avoided in this battle. This is incredible. Regular Marowak goes for Thunder Wave. Of course, it's going to be avoided. The Reflect has worn off. It's open season for Muck. The Reflect has worn off, which means the physical attacks will do more damage. If this Muck can get a crit, it can bypass the defense increases that these Marowak have had. Goes for the regular Marowak. It's a good hit, but that +2 defense just isn't enough, and it didn't get the crit. That's an unfortunate moment for Muck. That's very unfortunate. Here we see Screech lowering Muck's defense now to -3. It was at -1. It's now at -3 physical defense. That's not good for Muck at all. This is where things get dangerous. Shiny Marowak is getting itself prepped. Goes for String Shot, dropping the speed of Muck as well, which I do think means that at the start of the next turn, the Marowak team are actually going to get to move first, so they get another opportunity to try and dish out some punishment on this Muck. This is getting scary, but Muck is still hanging on, and this is an incredible story in this battle. Shiny Marowak is going to start the next turn off. That String Shot has proved to be effective. Goes for Sky Attack, so it's going to cloak itself in a harsh light. That might be, with that -3 defense, that might be a killer for Muck. So Muck really, ideally, wants to take out Shiny Marowak as soon as possible. Regular Marowak is going to go for Seismic Toss and take 50 HP off this Muck. Guaranteed 50 HP. Ignores the defense issue, but that puts Muck in a very dangerous position right here. I think that Sky Attack could be a problem. Muck goes for Wrap. That's not going to be good enough on that on the Shiny ALOLAN Marowak. It's not going to deal enough damage on that Wrap, which means that Muck may be in a very difficult position. We may be seeing the end. Shiny Marowak is in the danger zone, but that's not knocked out. It's guaranteed to be using Sky Attack next turn. Oh my word. Regular Marowak starting off the next turn with the Metronome. What will happen? Goes for Meditate, increasing its attack one stage just in case Muck somehow survives. I can't see it happening at -3 defense. I don't want to count Muck out. It's tried so hard. Here's the Sky Attack from Shiny Marowak, and it just obliterates Muck. Muck is down, but kudos to Muck, because that was an amazing first round. Marowak has the advantage, but Muck could still claw back a victory. Here we go. Don't forget, use code ACE to get yourself some money off G Fuel as well. I'm drinking green apple because it's really, really lovely. Anywho, let's carry on with the battle. Let's see how things start off in this round. Regular Muck is back on the field, back in action, well rested and well ready to go. Leech Seed gonna be, sorry, I always think of Leech Life when I do. I've done this twice in the last couple of Metromanias, but Leech Seed onto that Shiny Marowak to guarantee it gets a little bit of HP restoring as this battle goes on. Shiny Muck is going to go for Leer and drop the defense of both the Marowak. This is a very technical start for the Muck team, trying a different tactic here, not going in on an all-out offensive, actually going for, you know, something that's going to give them a little bit more leeway going through this match. Shiny Marowak goes for Minimize, though, which is going to make its evasiveness rise sharply, but that doesn't stop the Leech Seed taking effect. It is still seeded by Leech Seed, and that will continue. Jump Kick, which will be neutral from regular Marowak onto regular Muck, doing a decent amount of damage, but there's the Leech Seed, taking a bit of Shiny Marowak's HP and giving it to Muck. Obviously, you know, once it's taken damage. Sorry, Shiny Muck's the one that took the Jump Kick. Sometimes it gets confusing. in these Metromanias, but don't worry. Here goes regular Muck, though, the actual one and only regular Muck, who is still at full HP, who's going to go for Stomp, but of course it doesn't affect Shiny Marowak, so that's a bit of a wasted turn there. Remember, both the Marowak are back to being Ghost and Fire types now. Here's a Boomerang, though, from Shiny Muck. That'll be super effective. That's a great hit. Those two, oh my god, those two Boomerang hits put that Marowak at -1 defense in the danger zone. That was incredible. Marowak is in peril right now. Goes for Sand Attack. Doesn't want to take any more hits from these Muck. So it lowers the accuracy of the regular Muck there. So that's a great play by Marowak to try and buy itself some time while it's in that danger zone. Shiny Marowak is going to go for Flash, lower the accuracy even further. Which Muck is it going for? It's lowered the accuracy of the Shiny Muck, so now we have two Muck that are both at -1 accuracy. That doesn't bode well for Muck. But what does bode well for Muck is this Leech Seed, which is continuing to sap, I believe, 1/8 of Marowak's HP each turn. And if Muck takes any damage, it'll just restore it right back up. What's going to happen next? Muck is getting ready. It's feeling confident, but it's got to watch out for that accuracy. Goes for Mega Drain, avoided by Marowak. That's the problem with the accuracy drop. That's the concern. Here's the shiny Muck, though, who is going to go for Fire Blast. Not that effective on a fire type. I'm surprised it hit with that accuracy drop, but a little bit of chip damage there to shiny Marowak. Probably should be trying to take out this regular Marowak, who is sitting at red HP, who goes for a Sonic Boom, we should mention, onto that regular Muck for that 20 guaranteed damage, although the Leech Seed will probably restore that right back up next turn. Here's Lovely Kiss, though, coming out from the shiny Marowak onto the shiny ALOLAN Muck, who is going to fall fast asleep for the next few turns. So the Muck team in a little bit of trouble, but that Leech Seed paying dividends right there, bringing shiny Marowak down to half its max HP and restoring the HP of that Muck as well. Keeping it safe, keeping it the higher HP you can stay at, the safer you're going to be. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? So we'll see the Muck team start the next turn off. Can this Muck mount some offense right now and take down these Marowak? We see Poison Powder come out. It is avoided by the opposing team, so there's going to be no Poison Powder here. Shiny Muck is fast asleep. Now it's over to regular Marowak, who's really getting lucky at the moment after that Boomerang, going for Stun Spore onto the Muck that isn't asleep, which is regular Muck. So now regular Muck is paralyzed and at -1 accuracy, which is not good. Still protected a little bit by that Leech Seed. Here comes the shiny Marowak, though, who is going to fire off with a Boomerang of its own, which will be super effective on that shiny Muck. There's the one hit, and there's the second hit. As with every Boomerang, massive damage there, bringing it very close to the danger zone. But of course, there's that Leech Seed, which is sapping the HP of that Marowak every turn. It's going to restore Muck back up to full HP there. So no worries for the regular Muck, apart from the paralysis and the dropped accuracy, I suppose. Shiny Muck's in a little bit of trouble. Really needs to wake up, though. But the Marowak team are still suffering a little bit here. Shiny Muck has woken up, indeed, is going to go for the Metronome. What's it got planned? It's going to go for Rest. So it's going to go back to sleep. It says, no, mate, I need a couple more minutes. 5 more minutes. God, that resonates with me. And it's going to restore its HP back up to full health. That's fantastic. What a great play there by Shiny Muck. I think it can survive 2 turns, so it's very lucky there. We see Hydro Pump coming out, avoided by regular Muck from regular Marowak, and there is the shiny Marowak getting ready to see if it can follow up on that. Oh, goes for a Hydro Pump of its own and says, this one ain't gonna miss, mate. Straight on that regular Muck as well. They both went for Hydro Pump into the same Muck. That's incredible. Critical hit. Didn't do a great deal of damage, though. But, of course, that opens up the Leech Seed's going to be there anyway. So that's another 1/8 of Shiny Marowak's HP gone. And, of course, restoring right back up onto regular Muck there, giving it that little bit of HP back. This is not looking good for the Marowak team right now. The Muck team have played incredibly well in this battle. This has been fantastic. This is what Metromania is all about. Shiny Muck, of course, fast asleep right now. Will be for this turn and next turn, I believe. Regular Marowak has an opportunity here. What will it do? It's going to go for Leech Seed of its own. Turnabout is fair play on the Muck that has seeded the shiny Marowak. So that's very interesting. So shiny Marowak, who is Leech Seeded right now, is going to go for Confusion, doesn't affect Muck, and now Muck is fully paralyzed, can't move, but we're going to see which way the Leech Seed's going to work. So we're going to see Leech Seed sap HP from shiny Marowak and restore HP to the regular Muck. We're then going to see Leech Seed sap HP from the regular Muck and restore HP to the regular Marowak. If we can get shiny Muck to use Leech Seed here on the regular Marowak, we will have a full Leech Seed train. In fact, I'd love to see it go. I don't think we've got enough time for it, but I'd love to see it go all 4 ways as well. So it ends up going back to shiny Marowak. That would be fantastic. I mean, what are the actual odds of that happening? I'm sure someone knows the odds of that happening based on the amount of moves and the amount of the chance that Leech Seed have being selected. Here's the, here's agility, increasing the speed of the shiny Marowak. I mean, you are Leech Seeded, though. You've probably got 2 turns of life left, but sure, you do what you need to do. Here's regular Marowak, who is going to get ready with its metronome. Going to go for Slash, maybe aiming for a critical hit there. Does a decent amount of damage to that shiny Muck, who is still fast asleep. Here's regular Muck, who is going to go for another Leech Seed on the regular Marowak. Wait, so there's 2 Leech Seeds going from each of the Marowak into the Muck, and then a Leech Seed going back from Muck into the regular Marowak. Shiny Marowak is very much in the danger zone right now. Both the Leech Seeds are going to sap HP from the Marowaks and restore HP to the Muck. This is not what I meant. And now, this is amazing. And now there's the Leech Seed taking back a bit of the HP to restore it onto regular Marowak. What an absolute mess this Metronome battle has turned out to be. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is what the semi-finals are all about, ladies and gentlemen. This is a thing of beauty. Which way is this going to go? I mean, it's looking like Muck very much has the advantage based on HP. Shiny Marowak, unless it can restore its own HP, goes for Sand Attack. Going to lower the accuracy once again of Shiny Muck. But is it too little too late? Because it is going to die to the Leech Seed this turn. So Shiny Muck is getting ready with its own metronome here, and it's going to go for Supersonic. It's going to be avoided, that -2 accuracy and the low accuracy of Supersonic paying dividends there. Regular Marowak is going to go for Bone Meringue once again. That's super effective. Bone Meringue, that's 1 hit. That's 2 hits. Is it enough to take down the Muck? It's not. Regular Muck is still in this game. Not even in the danger zone. We didn't even hear the danger zone beacon just then. Here's a cut, though. Doesn't affect Marowak, but then here we go. There's the HP sapped from Shiny Marowak. Shiny Marowak is going to faint because of that Leech Seed. So there we go. Good night, Shiny Marowak. That's going to restore the HP of this Muck just that little bit. Then we're going to see the Leech Seed sap the HP from the regular Marowak, and then we're going to see it restore the HP of the Muck a little bit. Then we're going to see the Leech Seed that's on the Muck sap the HP from the Muck, and there we go. We're going to see it restore the HP of that Marowak. This is a complex Leech Seed based situation. At least we've eliminated one of the variables. We've eliminated one of the Marowaks now, so that no more Leech Seed on Shiny Marowak. But wow, regular Marowak's in a very difficult position here. That Leech Seed of its own is buying it some time, but how much time does it need? Here's the Shiny Muck going for Leer, lowering the defense of that Marowak once again. It's already at -1 defense. It's now at -2 defense. Marowak, what's it going to do here? It needs to bring out more Bone Meringues, to be honest. They've been really effective. Screech, it's going to lower the defense of the Shiny Muck there by 2 stages. Says, you want my defense down to -2? You can have defense -2. Over to regular Muck here, who's really the MVP of this battle, I think. Goes for Twin Needle. It's not going to be very effective on Marowak, but what you don't want for Marowak is for Poison to take effect. Is it going to poison? I don't think it is. It's not going to poison the Marowak, so very lucky for Marowak there. There's the Leech Seed sapping the HP of the Marowak, bringing it down into the danger zone, restoring the HP of Muck just a little bit. And then here's the Leech Seed sapping the HP of Muck a little bit to restore the HP of the Marowak and maybe bring it out of the danger zone just that little bit. There we go, just out of the danger zone. What will happen? Marowak is holding its own, though. This is just like the previous battle, but with the roles reversed almost, because now it's Marowak who's really holding its own against 2 Muck, and I'm very impressed here. Mega Kick coming out from the oh, that was a hiccup and a little bit of a burp as well from one of the Muck there, from the Shiny Muck. Doesn't affect Marowak. Here's a double edge, though, from Marowak. Risky play there. Massive damage, though. Almost knocks itself out with recoil. That was probably a very risky play. I think it may have been high risk, very little reward. Here's Psychic coming out from regular ALOLAN Muck. And yet, Marowak put itself in too much danger there with that double edge. It goes down. It's 1 apiece. We are going to a 3rd round in this Metronome battle, and I don't know who's going to win. I literally couldn't. If you asked me to bet money, I couldn't tell you who's going to win this Metronome battle. I just don't know at this point. Both these Pokemon have showed incredible heart. They've showed incredible ingenuity, and they've just shown that they can absolutely go toe-to-toe with each other. They're so well matched at this point. Here comes regular Muck, starting things off with a guillotine. My goodness, doesn't affect Marowak, though, of course, because Marowak is a ghost type and, you know, luckily can avoid guillotine, because it's a normal type move. Here's a withdraw, though, from Shiny Muck, going to increase its defense by 1 stage. Oh, my word, I'm going to sip some G Fuel. My word, this is one of the longest Metromanias in history. It's amazing. Here we see Hydro Pump coming out, almost that signature move of that shiny Marowak there onto that shiny Alolan Muck for a decent chunk of damage there. Really going on the offensive from the get-go. I think the Marowak team might go down that route. We see Blizzard coming out. Yeah, definitely going on the offensive. Going to damage both the Muck there for a decent little chunk of damage. The Marowak team are really pulling out the big moves here. They want to take out these Muck as quickly as they possibly can. And I don't blame them. They're in a very dangerous situation. They're against an opponent that matches up to them so well. Here's a Sand Attack from regular Muck onto shiny Alolan Marowak, which means that shiny Alolan Marowak has -1 accuracy at this point, which leaves it a little bit vulnerable. It may start missing moves, and that's not good if you're going to the final. Here we see Poison Gas on both the Marowak from the shiny Muck there, which is a great play. Put timers on these Marowak, make them suffer, make them have to panic, because now they're thinking, okay, I've got like, what, 8 turns? Or is it 16 with regular poison? I've got a few turns. That's all they need to know. Here's Acid, which is going to be resisted by the Muck team. Will we get a stat drop, though? On either of these Muck, we don't get any stat drops. That's unfortunate for Marowak. Shiny Marowak, though, is going to fire off with a Fire Blast, and it's going to land it as well. Mate, what are all these accuracy hacks right now? You had -1 accuracy. Great damage there. There's the poison damage on the regular Marowak, and of course on the shiny Marowak as well. That was fantastic. Shiny Alolan Marowak showing that it is a very, very important member of its team right now. Really doing its job, doing as much damage as possible. Really putting the pressure on the Muck team right now. Shiny Muck is going to get ready and go for a Leech Seed. Oh boy, Leech Seed and Poison. Shiny Marowak is in danger right now. It's recognized that Shiny Marowak is a threat and goes, hey, you know how you're suffering with that poison? Let's get rid of you a little bit quicker while I heal myself. Clamp as well on the same Marowak. Oh my god. So now at the end of every turn, shiny Marowak is going to suffer with Clamp damage, poison damage, and Leech Seed damage all in one go. Here's an Aurora Beam from that same Marowak, maybe trying to do as much damage as it can before it inevitably gets KO'd by all of these end of turn conditions. Down goes the attack of that shiny Muck here. Marowak, regular Marowak, going for Hyper Beam. They really want to take down these Muck, don't they? This is incredible. That is on the shiny Muck as well, dealing a decent chunk of damage. Of course, that does mean recharging next turn. And here we see the Leech Seed, though, taking effect, taking some health away from shiny Marowak, sapping it, and then putting it into the shiny Muck there, bringing it back up into the green. There's the poison damage on regular Marowak, and here we see the poison damage on the shiny Marowak, and we're about to see some clamp damage as well. Shiny Marowak is in absolute peril right now. I don't even know if it'll survive the next turn at this rate. What fantastic plays by Muck. We got Muck going on the casual, you know, take a little bit of damage at the end of each turn to your opponent, and then Marowak going with the full force offensive. Two very different styles of battle here. We see shiny Muck getting ready with a double kick. It's not going to affect Marowak, so that's unfortunate for the Muck team. Little bit of a misstep there, if it even has feet. Regular Muck going to go for Absorb. It's not going to be very effective on the Marowak, but will restore a little tiny bit of HP, I suppose, so all's well that ends well, I guess. Now it's over to the Marowak team that really needs to do something. Of course, regular Marowak has to recharge, so it's over to shiny Marowak to try and do something before it inevitably gets removed from the field. Goes for hard and increases its defense. Don't know if that was a good idea. I think you may have forfeited your place in this battle. There's the Leech Seed. Let's see how it pans out. Leech Seed doing a decent amount of damage there. There's the restoration to shiny Muck, getting its HP back up. There's the poison damage. It's not going to survive Clamp, surely. Where's the Clamp damage? There's the poison damage on regular Marowak. Here comes the Clamp damage. Is it going to take out Marowak? Shiny Marowak's down because of the Clamp damage. What an incredible feat to get Leech Seed, Poison, and Clamp all on the same Pokemon with only using Metronome. Fantastic. I don't think I'll ever see that again in the entire future of Metromania. Never ever. Here's the shiny Alolan Muck, though, who is going to go for hard and increase its own defense. Yeah, why not? I mean, at this point, the Muck team can really go on the defensive. They can really relax a little bit now. before, you know, basically let Marowak tire itself out. Here's Thunderbolt, though, from regular Muk. Massive damage. Critical hit on that Thunderbolt there. Lucky for Marowak, it can't be paralyzed, but it's still poisoned. It's still in a dangerous place. We see Light Screen coming out. Could have done with that at the start of the turn, increasing the protection against special attacks, but wow. Marowak's in a really tricky place here. The poisons brought it down into the danger zone. It's not looking good for Marowak right now. It's looking to be in a difficult situation. It could well be that Muk may be going to the final, but I guess we're going to have to wait and find out. Let's see how these next turns pan out. We see Pin Missile coming out from regular Muk there, doing barely any damage, of course, because it's 4 times resisted by Marowak, I believe, because I believe Ghost resists Bug as well, because Bugs don't really affect Ghost. They're not really scared of anything, are they? Here's the shiny Alolan Muk, who's going for an Ice Punch. Again, not very effective. They're just toying with Marowak, but the poison is going to take Marowak out if it doesn't do something to restore its HP, like Soft Boiled or Recover or something like that. Goes for Rolling Kick. It's avoided by Muk, which is tragic. Marowak goes down on its shield, basically. Good night, Marowak. Muk has confirmed its place in the final of Metromania Season 6. We are getting Alolan Ninetales versus Alolan Muk. That was incredible. I think it's fair to say Muk really struggled in the first round. Like, it had a difficult time in that first battle. The second battle was a little bit more even, and definitely Muk found its sound in the third round. That's a lot of ound sounds to say. That's a little bit... ooh. That threw me off a little bit. But it's fair to say, Muk definitely got into gear in the third round, really pulled back that final victory, and really made light work of Marowak in the last round. So unfortunately, Marowak, we do say goodbye at this point. Marowak was one of those Pokemon I thought was going to be really dominant all the way through this tournament. So to see it go out in the semi-finals, a little bit bittersweet, but it's nice watching Muk go through to face Ninetales. We're going to have just a great time next week, aren't we? Let's face it, like, it's going to be really fun watching the grand final of Season 6, which is going to be Alolan Ninetales taking on Alolan Muk. But of course, that's where I'm going to leave this episode of Metromania. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to support the channel like these wonderful people down here do, pledge to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/AceTrainerLiam. For live streams 5 days a week, head over to twitch.tv/AceTrainerLiam. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.